First, I'd like to say hello to Charles Waddell, one of the greatest to ever play two sports at the University of North Carolina, a dear friend, a wonderful ambassador of sports. And we miss you in Chapel Hill, but you've done a great job in Columbia, and we love you. So thank you, Charles. And Charles, if we have questions with South Carolina, we call Charles. That's what we do. He and Rick spend a lot of time together trying to figure all this out. First, I'd like to thank the city of Charlotte and the way they put on the game. It was a great crowd, a lot better than 4 years ago, even better than the bowl game. Both programs have done so well, and two quarterbacks as good as anybody in the country, and boy, did they put on a show tonight. And you've got game day here. What type of publicity could these two schools get tonight? I mean, you can't buy this stuff. Everybody in the country that watches college football was watching that game tonight, and that's really, really cool. So I'm really, really proud. I'm proud for Shane for what he's accomplished and what he's done. And I'm proud of our coaches and these kids. They came back at halftime and went ahead, which was huge. Gave up an onside kick to start the second half while we're sitting there telling them they're going to onside kick it. And we stood right there and watched them get it. And then had a 3 and out or a 4 and out and get the ball right back at the 40 or at the 50. So I'd like to start by congratulating our defense. South Carolina had 11 yards rushing. Rattler threw the ball so well. In my experience is if you win the rushing yards, and we had 168, you usually win the game. And that's just, I think it's happened maybe every time in my 35 years, but about 5 or 6. So you've got to be able to run the ball some to get what you need to. Last year we had 17 sacks for the year. Tonight we had 9. And we had a lot of tackles for loss. And again, when you can't run the ball, it makes it easier to get after the quarterback. And we had to get after him. And he had an incredible night, even though we got after him. And then we had the ball for about 33 minutes, which was a win, making sure that we kept him on the sideline. But the other thing that happens when you can run the ball is we're 8 of 13 on third downs. We were 1 of 2 on fourth downs, and we dropped the one we didn't make, a pass that would have been a first down. And we're 4 for 4 in the red zone. And that's something that we have not been doing very well. They were 4 for 14 on third downs because of again, us stopping the run. They were 0 for 4 on fourth downs, which kept them from getting back in the ball game. And they were 3 for 5 in the red zone, which we can improve in that area. I thought Drake was Drake. We had the 2 turnovers, and give South Carolina credit for that. They did harass him some, but we did not give up a sack tonight. And that's something that we have not done well for the last 5 years. So tackles for loss, giving up fewer tackles for loss. Sacks by our defense, giving up no sacks by our offense. All of those things were better. And our kicking game was good. Ryan Coe kicked all the field goals, and he kicked off really, really well. So we had a couple of stupid penalties. We had 12 on the field once, which killed us on a 3rd and 19. And then we slung a guy down, which used to be a great tackle. Now it's roughing, whatever you call it. So I'm really, really proud of these guys. They didn't fold. They kept playing. South Carolina's got a really good football team with a lot of confidence, a great quarterback, and our guys hung in there. What we've got to do is go home now and start stacking on days that we get better, because there's so many things that we can get better that we can fix from tonight, even though we won the game. Questions?
Going back to the spring, you and Gene talked about the defense being quicker on the snap and being more violent. And what you saw tonight, have you seen that build, starting back in the spring, build to where it kind of hit that point?
Yes. I didn't want to say it because you all would think I was crazy, number one. And number two, you never know for sure when it's against you. I didn't know if we weren't playing as well in the offensive line, or one day we rushed for 124 yards in a scrimmage, and but those kids have worked really hard. We're pretty good 2 deep. We got to get more linebackers to play. Our young corners have to pick it up because they gave up. We had a third and 17, an explosive for a first down. So those are things that we can still get better. But Coach Chiswick is more comfortable. The defense, the kids are more comfortable with the defense because they've had 2 years of it, and he's tweaked some of it. Ted Monachino's helped us. Jason Jones working with Charlton Warren has helped us because we gave up fewer big plays in practice than we did last year. So now our defense, no team in this league, except maybe a couple that have better players than everybody, are good enough not to play and win a game. So you got to bring it every week, and that's hard to do. So the teams that are going to end up being the best in this league are going to be the ones that can play hard and confident every week and stay healthy. So we'll be tested by that next week. We've got a long ride home tonight. We've got to get home. We've got to get up and go back to work tomorrow and get ready for App State.
Mack, what does it say about your defensive unit that twice in the fourth quarter South Carolina was able to drive to the 25 yards to the goal, and in both of those instances, you guys forced a turnover on down?
They're playing with a lot more consistency and therefore much more confidence. They didn't get their heads down. They didn't pull the old poor me like they did at App State last year in the fourth quarter. So this should really build on their confidence. We can show them tomorrow the things that they need to fix because South Carolina scored in 5 plays once. So we've still got a lot of things we can fix, but overall they're playing defense much better. They're much more fundamentally sound.
Mack, how everything you went through this week, Monday, Tez in limbo, or an ACC vote that kind of went against the school's wishes, was there more emotion after this one than there might have been otherwise?
Luke, I think it's multitasking is crazy anyway, but probably emotional for the kids. What we're trying to teach them is we're trying to teach them a lot of things. We're trying to teach them how to be men, how to grow up, how to be adults. We're being an extension of their parents, and that sounds corny, but we talk about NIL and we talk about transfer portal. It's still our job to help them. And when you have an absolute tragedy like we had, all we can do is pray for the families involved and try to help young people learn from it. Those are teachable moments. Tez's situation, I don't think it's fair at all, and I hate it for him. Eric Church wore his jersey on the sideline, and Eric Church just gave him the jersey, presented it to him in the dressing room, and gave him the game ball. But it's there, and that's what we've got. So you can't make everything in your life good, but what you can do is handle things that aren't going well and handle things that aren't good. And that's what we're trying to teach these players is you try to keep from having problems. You're still going to have some tough things in your life, and when they come up, the way you handle them is going to be the success rate that you'll have with you and your family.
Mack, if you could consistently play that way defensively, how does that change the ceiling of what this team can do?
Josh, that we can be good. We've got good players. We've got good coaches. I thought until we had the turnovers, the offensive staff had a brilliant game plan to start the game. They ran the clock. They had no sacks. We were good in the red zone, 8 of 13 on third downs. And the way they ran the ball, we had it 20 minutes at halftime to South Carolina's 10. That kept the defense off the field. And part of that was the defense getting 3 and outs. We played better as a team tonight, and our staff worked better as a group trying to help each other. And there was never any panic or anybody mad because there was a turnover or we didn't get the onside kick or it was even kill, and they just played with a lot of emotion. They kind of took it as a challenge to sudden change. Ooh, gosh, we got to go out there and stop them, man, instead of, oh, my God, why didn't we get the onside kick? So we're growing up some.
Mack, how proud are you and happy are you for British Brooks, especially after everything that you went through last year?
Yeah, the last game British played in was this one for the bowl game against South Carolina. He didn't even realize that, and his granddad told him that this week, and he told me. And the reason you coach are the kids. It doesn't sound like it, but that's what you do it for. And walking off the field, I've never been prouder of a young guy. British was down on his knee crying like a baby, and he was just so proud that he made it back, because when he hurt his knee, he didn't think he'd ever play again for a day and a half, and then he said, I want to play again. Well, it's easy to say and hard to do, and that young guy did an unbelievable job of getting healthy and playing so well tonight. He'll just keep getting better and better. He's really a good player.
Matt, to follow up on that, did you talk to British right there? Like, look like you shared a moment with him.
Yeah, I said, I'm so proud of you. A lot of people couldn't do what you just did. And what a great message to DeAndre Boykins and some of those guys that are hurt now, that you fixed it. You took a awful situation and turned it into a positive by coming back and being able to play and help your team win. And that was kind of a signature win for him, because I apologized to the team yesterday. I said that you all played so bad against South Carolina. Sometimes some guys play bad, and some did. Some of those guys played hard. British played one of the best games he's ever played. So I said, for you that played good against South Carolina 2 years ago in the bowl game, how awful of me to say that it's the worst game I've ever seen. We had some guys play bad, but we had a lot. Said Gray, Power played his first game ever when Gimel got hurt his shoulder at halftime. So I apologized. And I said, and give South Carolina respect now. At the end of last year, when we didn't play well in a couple of those games, they were beating Tennessee, Clemson, and had a chance to beat Notre Dame. So don't walk out of here and act like they're not good. I said, I want you to respect them, and you play up to that respect. And that was really, really important message for this game.
Matt, how did you feel like Drake played well?
I thought Drake played great. He probably will have to look at it. He had a lot of pressure, and he probably forced 2 balls. But you know what? He made a throw to John Copenhaver for a touchdown that he was on his back. He made another throw to Bryson Nesbitt with somebody hitting him right in the chest when he threw it. So if you're going to make those throws and you say, no, great job, Drake, then you can't say that when he gets one intercepted. So, but I thought he played great. He'll be so hard on himself, because all he'll think about is the 2 interceptions. He won't think about all the other things he did. But I thought for 3 quarters he handled the game as good as anybody could ever handle it.
You mentioned a couple weeks ago after practice format that you really liked the way the guards and the center were playing up front. You had a lot of success with those inside runs tonight. Is that exactly what you're seeing when you talk about?
It is, and I like the running game better. We're downhill. We're more physical. Willie Lampkin hadn't played at this level before, and he missed a couple of guys that ran through at linebacker, so he's got some work to do. Jonathan Adorno sprained an ankle last week. We didn't think he was going to get to play, and then Ed Montala sprained his ankle in the first or second series. So Adorno had to play the whole game. So we'll look at rotating some other guys. We need to play Diego Pounds more and play Will Barnes some at guard and tackle. So we'll look at stacking those differently so we can have more depth than we had tonight.
Talk about the big performance of Elijah Huzzy.
I'll be next to hear.
What did you make of Elijah Huzzy's first game at UNC? He was there for some plays or made some plays. What did you do?
Yeah, Elijah's really a good football player. I laughed with him after the game. I said it's the first time I've ever been with you for 2.5 hours where you didn't get an interception. And he said, I was close, Coach. I was close to a couple of them. So, but he made plays all night. He's physical. He's tough. He tackled in space. He is really a good football player. And we got to figure out now, what do you do at strong safety or star with the young corners and him? He's such a great corner. And at the end there, they were picking on us a little bit at corner with their great receivers. So we moved Huzzy outside and said, okay, shut it down. Just shut it down. And then DJ Jones played the start position. So, yes, ma'am.
I hate to pull focus from the team's great game, but I want to ask you about
There's when there's a but.
I know that I know that you have a relationship with the Beamers, and just interested in your take on what he's doing and how he's doing with South Carolina. I know today your handshake has pulled him back, and
Yeah.
he's upset, obviously.
Yeah. Where do you work?
I work in Greenville, South Carolina.
I figured that. That's what I thought. I didn't think you were in Greenville, North Carolina.
At least I was smart enough to know I have to differentiate.
You did, and you said but, and my granddad said don't ever listen to anybody until they say but or however, then they're going to tell you what they really think. So Frank Beamer and I grew up in this business together. I was struggling here while he was struggling at Virginia Tech, and I remember people saying, Frank's got to win 5 games next year to keep his job. And I thought, oh my God, that wouldn't happen nowadays. And I lost 20 games in 2 years. So Frank's one of the best to ever do it. And we went in the Hall of Fame together, which was really, really cool for me. And Sally and I watched Shane grow up from a little child. I mean child. So I'm so proud that he is the head football coach at South Carolina. I told him today to hug his mom and dad for me because I love them. Sally and I have been around. We've made all the Nike trips with them, and they are dear friends. And I'm just proud of what he's done. He's recruiting well. He's classy. He's smart. He's innovative. He's kind of the new young guy that gets the Twitter and all the stuff that you need to do to be cool with the kids. I just wear cool shoes. So that's all I can do. But for what he did at the end of last year, all of us sat there and said he's going to be 6-6, and he beat two teams that were unbelievable. So Shane's got success written all over him.
Mack, talk about the ability.
Guys, we got time for one more.
Talk about the ability for the wide receivers and tight ends to really step up.
David, you said something too. We'll get yours next.
Let's talk about the ability for the wide receivers, tight ends to step up without Nate and Ted. He found 9 different guys.
Yeah.
K-Sauer and Copenhagen really had the game.
You know, Chip Lindsey's really good at what he does. I've been very impressed. And I hadn't seen him call plays. So I was like you all tonight. People say, you think he's going to call good plays? And I said, I don't know. He has. But how do I know? I mean, I'm going to sit there and watch because he has a tremendous amount of pressure on him because we've moved the ball and scored points. And I was so impressed through 3 quarters maybe. And then we kind of shut it down there at the end, and we've got to run the ball when they know we're going to run it. We've got to do that better. We need to stay on the field. But we did force them to use all 3 timeouts. And that was huge at the end of the game. And then got a sack. And that pretty much means the game's over because you could see their body language just went to nothing. But yeah, they knew when we found out Tez wasn't going to play yesterday, and then Nate wasn't going to play, and hopefully he'll be able to play. That's your 2 top new receivers coming in, and you're not going to have either one of them. And you've been throwing to them all spring and all camp. So Drake didn't even have some guys today out there that he was throwing to. So we thought all 3 tight ends need to play more. We'll get 2 of them in the game at times. I thought they did a masterful job of making all that work. David?
I was going to just pound in the hallway anyway, so you're getting ahead of it now. You mentioned the game logo and Tez, obviously a ton of emotion this week. How did he handle it during the game, or what was that moment like in the locker room afterwards?
He really didn't handle it well during the week. He struggled in practice. I don't know that he would have played well if he played, because there's so much pressure on him. It's life's dream to play at Carolina, life's dream to play in Charlotte against South Carolina. Family members had 30 tickets, and he doesn't get to play. And he gets told the day before the game. And now he's got a meeting where they will look at it next week. Another committee will look at it next week on Thursday. So he's got to sit here and wait until Thursday to see if he's going to play, and we've got to practice him and try to help him get through this. But we didn't even want to leave him by himself last night. So he said, can I go home? We said, no, you need to stay here and be with us and be around the team. And I thought the gesture by Eric Church was really cool. Eric's high school number was 34, and he always wears 34. And he called yesterday and said, I want to honor Tez, and I want to wear his jersey. Is that okay? And we had to ask him, and of course it was okay. And then he took the jersey off and gave it to Tez in the locker room with a game ball. And Tez, I told Tez on the sideline, Gavin Blackwell dropped a couple of balls. I said, go pick him up. I said, you're sitting here in a position where you know how it feels to feel bad. So pick him up. You go help. That's your job tonight. You go coach and help these guys. And I was so pleased that he walked over and he was talking to Gavin and saying, come on, man, you're good. You're good. I've seen you catch balls all the time. So he actually helped us in coaching on the sideline instead of pouting.
All right, gang, stay here real quick. I want to show Coach something. Just hang tight.